Opening the meeting with a brief moment of silence or prayer and a pledge of allegiance to the United States flag. No one is required to participate or be present for any of these, and being in this portion of the meeting is completely voluntary. Tonight's prayer and pledge is brought to you by Ms. Frances Rosales.
Before we pray tonight, I'd just like to, all of us to remember the family of Anthony Adams. He lost his life in he's farming, and he lost his life in an agricultural accident. His father, Andy, and his uncle, Robert, have been mainstays in his community for a long time, and they've made tremendous contributions to Middle Tennessee Christian School. So I just like to remember them. They're a great family. So.
Thank you. Bow your heads, please. Thank you. Dear Lord, thank you, God, for this day. Thank you for allowing us to have one more day. Thank you, God, for all that you're doing and what you're about to do. God, I just pray that you be with each and every single board member that's here tonight, and with Dr. Sullivan as we are getting ready to make decisions. Lord, I pray that you give us wisdom and discernment, but most importantly, that we have peace about the things that we're about to be voting on. God, I pray that you be with all the families here tonight and those who are watching from home. You know their needs, and whatever there may be, I pray that you will answer them accordingly. We love you. We give you the glory and the power. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up, we have approval of the agenda. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor, say aye. Yes.
Aye.
Got one. I'm going to add it during consent.
Okay.
Yep.
Next, we have the consent agenda, and I think you had something you needed to add to that.
I'd like to request that we add Maddie Porter from Central Magnet for high school volleyball. Since we don't have another meeting till the 4th, I'd appreciate it if we could go ahead and add her to the list.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have public comment, and we have one person signed up this evening. We have Miss Sydney Bouvaji. Did I say it right? Hi there.
Good evening. My name is Sydney Bouvaji, and I am a former RCUS teacher, a parent of 3 kids, 2 in our schools, and a current PhD student in education research. Before enrolling in my current PhD program, I had the honor of teaching at Holloway High School for many years. Holloway became a home away from home for students and for teachers. It is a true community school. I've seen what happens when adults pour into children. That is why something from last month's board meeting stayed with me. Student behavior was identified as the #1 concern among Rutherford County school teachers. I appreciate that the board is considering solutions, including another alternative school. I am not here to argue against that, but I am here to ask whether it can be one part of a broader response. You see, when I was at Holloway High School, under Samacha Drayton's leadership, the school felt like a family. I watched students who had struggled in their large settings become kind, compassionate members of a community. That transformation did not happen because they were bad children who suddenly became good. It happened because caring adults supported them, held them accountable, and continually reminded them of who they could become. For teachers, managing behavior is not simply responding to major disruptions. It means helping children regulate their emotions, redirecting attention, resolving conflicts, and meeting many different needs, all while continuing to teach the rest of the class. Tonight, I want to talk to parents, including myself, about how we might help. During my last year at Holloway, my son's teacher expressed concerns about his progress. Instead of listening, I became defensive. I questioned her expectations because accepting that my child needed help felt like one more thing I could not carry. And this is even being a teacher. Later, after leaving the classroom to pursue a PhD, I began volunteering at my son's school a couple hours a week. Despite having been a teacher, I was so surprised by the number of decisions his teachers made every minute and the emotional energy it required to keep young children learning. I also discovered how parents can help. Could a volunteer read individually with a struggling student, organize classroom materials, help at an evening game so a teacher doesn't have to remain after hours? Not every parent can volunteer during the school day, and I was so privileged that I could give a couple hours a week. But many of us want to contribute and simply do not know how we can help. So my request is, could Rutherford County Schools develop clearer, more flexible pathways for parents and community members to support classrooms and school activities? Teachers and administrators cannot carry this responsibility alone. If we want better behavior, stronger schools, and teachers who remain in the profession, families must become part of the solution. Dr. Sullivan, you have personally inspired me that teaching can be a more sustainable profession, and your leadership is inspiring. Members of the board, thank you for your leadership, your service, and for hearing me tonight. Your discussions and actions show us as parents and as teachers how much you care about our students. RCS is not just a school district, it's a community, one that I and so many parents are proud to be part of. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Director of Schools evaluation results, and I believe we have Macy, Campadili.
Close. For those of you I have not met yet, my name is Macy Campadilli. I am the Director of Board Development and a staff attorney at TSBA. So we were asked to assist with the superintendent evaluation for Dr. Sullivan this year. You each should have a copy of the evaluation results. So we sent out a link to board members and to administrators to fill the evaluation out online, and then we tabulated the results. So if you turn to the first page, that's the overall evaluation score. So the rating scale we used was a 1 to 5, with 5 being significantly above expectations. Section 1 included Appendix A, which was the administrator survey, and Appendix B, which was the board observational data. And then Section 2 was Appendix C, which included achievement of board goals and strategic plan. Each of those sections were weighted evenly. We added those up. The overall evaluation score was 4.53. If you'll turn, we have Appendix A, so that's going to break down each of those sections. The overall score for the administrator survey was 4.75. And then if you'll turn, you will have all of the comments from the administrators verbatim as we received them. Appendix B was the board observational data. I'll go quickly through each of those sections. So for board relationships, the average score was 4.24. For community relationships, the average score was 4.64. For staff and personnel relationships, the average score was 4.53. For facilities, finance, and human resources, the average score was 4.6. For vision, the average score was 4.48. For student achievement, the average score was 4.59. For management and operations, the average score was 4.55. For integrity, fairness, and ethics, the average score was 4.39. And for political, social, and cultural context, the average score was 4.36. So the total average for Appendix B was 4.49. That next page is just a graph with each of those sections broken down for Appendix B. Appendix C was achievement and board goals and strategic plan. For Section 1, for Performance Objective 1, the average was 4.47. For Performance Objective 2, the average score was 4.43. For performance objective 3, the average was 4.57. For performance objective 4, the average was 4.43. Performance objective 5, the average was 4.43. Performance objective 6, average was 4.57. Performance objective 7, the average was 4.57. And performance objective 8, the average was 4.3. So the total average for Appendix C was 4.47. Again, there's another graph breaking down each of those sections for Appendix C. And then the last page will be comments from board members verbatim as we receive them. So those 3 sections made up the superintendent evaluation for that overall score of 4.53. Does anyone have any questions about the evaluation or how TSBA assisted in the process?
Ms. Maxwell?
Ms. Rosales?
Thank you. So it's clearly that Dr. Sullivan has done an I don't think my mic is on. Oh, it wasn't. Has done an outstanding job now 4 years into it, and I think his average score has been this high, 4 point something. And so I'm going to read a comment of what I said into what has been the past 4 years for him. Since this will be the last time that I'll be judging this evaluation, I wanted to go ahead and do this. So Dr. Sullivan has done an outstanding job leading Rutherford County Schools over the past 4 years. His greatest challenge has been working with a divided board. Rather than focusing solely on initiatives that move education forward for the benefit of students, the board has found itself split on issues that shouldn't be political and bringing national political noise at the forefront that have little to do with the education of Rutherford County students. This division has become especially apparent not once but twice during discussions regarding the extension of Dr. Sullivan's contract. For a leader who has consistently delivered results year after year, as evidenced by student achievement and district growth, one will think renewing his contract will be an easy decision. Instead, the discussion has turned into political battleground disguised as fiscal responsibility. Rather than a straightforward acknowledgement of a job well done, his contract extension has been treated as conditional, with new terms that ultimately place a target on his back. How can any director effectively lead a district knowing that his job could be placed in jeopardy without just cause? What's truly being communicated without saying is, you're doing a great job and we want to keep you, but you're too expensive to retain and keep, despite the fact that his salary remains far below the average for the directors leading districts of similar size and complexity. Under Dr. Sullivan's leadership, Rutherford County Schools has continued to grow, improve student outcomes, attain low staff vacancies and higher staff retention, and maintain strong financial stewardship. Those accomplishments should matter. Board members will do a great service to our community, especially our students, teachers, and staff, by supporting the director and allowing him to continue leading the district without unnecessary political interference and division. And with that, I will say the testament of why I decided to speak up and read this is because the person that spoke here just a few seconds ago, I met her during the trail of her campaign, and she attests to how amazing and wonderful you were, because when she had a situation with a family, you value what she brought to the system and made accommodations for her to stay. And that's the type of leadership that we have here in Rutherford County, is someone who values our staff and understands the struggles they go to. And he does a lot of work in trying to keep good staff. And the fact that we having to argue over a contract that was already decided before I even got here makes me wonder, why are we coming to this when we have someone that is already doing the work that is necessary and bringing the results? And obviously it shows, and not just in the outcomes, but the people that he's leading. And I hope that if a 2-year contract comes again, that it's a 7-0 decision.
Thank you. Any guess?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all for the feedback. It's an honor to serve Rutherford County Schools. This is my home district. Personally, people can have certain viewpoints of growing up in a home district and moving to become superintendent. I had a tough home life that not a lot of people know about, but this system helped save me, so it is personal for me. So appreciate everything. Yep.
Anyone else?
I'd like to, Doc Seven, I don't know if anybody could do any better job. than
Thank you,
what
sir.
you've done. And I don't know, I get disappointed sometimes when I look at some of these scores, and I don't know, I guess it burns me a little bit because it's not really a fair, truthful evaluation of the job you've done. For example, we're the #1 achieving school system in the state of Tennessee. And over here, it's, on the evaluation, I think it's student achievement, 4.59. I mean, I don't know how I could keep them being 5.0 when you're the best. So keep up the good work,
Thank you.
Thank you for leading us.
Yep, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much for putting this together and helping us. Next, we have the RCS difference.
I think, Mr. Evans, I think this is your entire section.
So I know we have a packed agenda tonight, but I also know that we love packing it with this kind of stuff. So we have a lot of things to recognize tonight. First thing I'm going to do is call up Miss Tiffany. She's right behind me.
Yep.
And Tyra, come on up. You want to come up too? Just to give a little introduction here. For the past 3 years, I believe, we've been doing this internship program over the summer. Tiffany's going to say more about it, but I will tell you that in the communications department, we were fortunate enough to have one of our students, Joseph, who's on here, who's actually not a communications student. He is a student out of the aviation program at Siegel, and we specifically sought that so that we could get him to shoot aerial footage using drones of all of our schools, or as many as he could during his 1 month. And he got about half of them done, and it's incredible footage that we're going to be able to use as file footage for a long time. And so we have a hard time finding time to go out and do all that. We have so many schools, and he dedicated the month of June to do that. But you're going to talk about the whole program. So start there.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Sullivan, for allowing us this moment to recognize our summer interns and talk a little bit about this program. It has such a huge impact on the work that RCS is doing, especially in our central office and also at our summer learning camps. So it's a very important work, and I appreciate the time that we can recognize these students. This program, as Mr. Evans referred to, just finished year 3. And the program is a combination of industry-led and district-led opportunities. And I want to take a moment just to recognize our industry partners. Our industry partners are invaluable. We could not do the work that we do without our industry partners. And one of those is T.W. Frierson. They are a construction company who mainly deals with commercial construction in the Middle Tennessee area. And this summer, and as well as the last 2 summers as well, so 3 years, this is the 3rd year, T.W. Frierson has hosted 4 Rutherford County construction students, and they are paid as T.W. Frierson employees at $20 an hour. Could y'all imagine making $20 an hour as a high school student? As a college student, I made $12 an hour, and I thought that was amazing. And so they have just completed a 6-week program at T.W. Frierson. Each student through this program is assigned to a work site where they perform various tasks related to commercial construction. And these students come from our construction programs this summer from Oakland and Smyrna construction programs. Now, state and federal child labor law restricts individuals under the age of 18 from performing certain job tasks. Many of the tasks performed on a construction site fall under these restrictions in child labor law. However, there is an exemption. TCA 50-5-107 provides exemption to the child labor law if the individual under 18 is enrolled in a vocational training program. Now, that is an old term that we don't use anymore. We say career and technical education, but I do use that term because specifically the law states vocational training program. And our program is career and technical education. And of course, work-based learning is a vocational training program. So to ensure the requirements of TCA 50-5-107 are met, our TW Frierson students are enrolled in our summer work-based learning course, which is led by Dr. Parizo. And Dr. Parizo is here with us tonight. She meets with students, visits them at their work site, and facilitates course requirements to ensure that every student is in a safe working environment and is participating in exceptional work-based learning programming. So we want to thank Dr. Parizo for this work that she has done, and this is her third summer of performing this valuable service for Rutherford County students in work-based learning. So our TW Frierson summer interns were Diego Baltazar. He was a rising senior at Smyrna High School. And I guess I should have prefaced this by saying several of our students are unable to be with us. They were such hard workers that several of them are working tonight, other jobs. And then the other ones are enjoying a small piece of summer vacation and are out of town. We do have here with us tonight, though, Yeston Hidalgo, and he's a 2026 graduate. Yeston, you want to stand? Of Smyrna High School with Mr. Pitts, and Mr. Pitts is here tonight too, his construction teacher, so I want to give a shout out to him. Then we also had James King, a rising senior at Oakland High School, and we had Frank Deambaje, a 2026 graduate of Oakland High School. All right, RCS had 11 students from several of our RCS high schools who participated as student interns within an RCS department. This was a separate program from our TW Frierson program. This was a 5-week program which started the week after they finished their high school exams for summer break. Students in this program earned $12 an hour. And these students were actually paid as Workforce Essential employees. So they were not enrolled as RCS employees. They are actually employees of Workforce Essentials. Workforce Essentials is our service provider for the Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA for short. Maybe you've heard the term WIOA. And these federal dollars are provided to states who in turn use them for programming through the American Job Centers, as well as youth employment programs. So we began this process for the last 3 years of securing student interns in January. This is due to the nature of funding with Workforce Essentials, and traditionally they have only not been able to promise us any student positions until around the end of February to March. So our timeline gets crunched a little bit, and every year we are hoping and praying that we are able to have some interns. Once we have those positions secured, then I reach out to central office departments to determine who has the capability to host a student intern for the summer. We've had a variety of departments and special projects over the past 3 years, and I can't wait to share just a couple of those here in just a moment. Recruitment begins as soon as possible. Recruitment is through our career and technical education instructors. Students fill out an application, teachers recommend them, and students participate in a virtual interview. The success of these summer interns is directly tied to the work that our CTE instructors do each and every day, because they come with skills that they are able to teach us about. We definitely learn more from our summer interns than we teach them, and they provide a valuable service to us. We are very thankful for Workforce Essentials and the partnership that we have with them. They are terrific partners to work with. But of course, this is not guaranteed from year to year for us to be able to use. So I'd like to take a minute to recognize our Teaching as a Profession students. These students were enrolled in Teaching as a Profession programs at many of our schools, and they served as summer interns at our summer learning camps. They were able to work with students in those summer learning camps by either helping teachers as a teacher assistant. They were able to perform tasks with small groups, lead activities, and help those programs. So the first one we had is Madia Amini, and she served at David Urey and is a rising senior at Smyrna High School. We had Isabella Chandler, who served at Barfield Elementary and is a rising senior at Riverdale High School. Arini Gerges served at Walter Hill Elementary and is a rising senior at Oakland High School. Isabella Kever served at John Coleman Elementary and is a rising senior at Holloway High School. We have Kaylin Lupo serving at Rock Springs Elementary and is a rising senior at Smyrna High School. Kaylin's here tonight. She's a little shy. And then we had Isabella Padilla, who served at Rockville Elementary and is a rising senior at Riverdale High School. And Grace Secker, who served at Browns Chapel Elementary and is a rising senior at Riverdale High School. The last student that I want to talk about is our aviation student, and Mr. Evans alluded to the work that he did. He was an aviation student at Siegel High School, and he was able to complete his industry certification, FAA Part 107. We required that the student intern performing the drone work for Mr. Evans and the communications team to have this industry certification because of the legal liabilities that come with flying a drone and filming while flying that drone. And so he has his FAA Part 107, and he was able to complete a lot of work, drone footage, and it really does look amazing. I can't wait for you guys to see some of the videos that communications will be able to produce with that footage. And his name was Joseph Hale, and he served with our communications team and is a 2026 graduate of Siegel High School. Thank you, Joseph. All right, at this time, I would like to turn this over to Mr. Brandon Stewart, and he worked with our final two students who served with our central office CTE team, and they were fantastic workers, and I think we surprised them a little bit with some of the work we asked them to do, but they just chipped in and were able to jump in and help with the work that we needed completed.
Thank you, Tiffany. Opportunities. This is a word that I frequently use when I facilitate in the mobile learning labs. I believe that RCS offers more opportunities than anyone else out there, and it's something that I'm proud to be a part of. These interns took advantage of an opportunity just like that. I want to talk a little bit about my personal experience that I have with my two interns, just to kind of tell you guys how our programs are shaping students. So a while back, we determined in CTE that I needed some videos to help me facilitate and reach more students with these mobile learning labs. After we priced them out, we determined that that pricing was too high and we couldn't do it at that time. However, Tiffany was able to obtain these two students that came out of AV production. One, Simon, over here, Simon Sendero, was a junior at Blackman High School, going to be a senior. And then we also had Ethan Morrow. He was a senior at Stewart's Creek High School. The first day these interns came in, I looked at them and I said, fellas, I don't know anything about producing a video. However, I told them, I said, here are my expectations. Here's what I would like the video to encompass. Here's your timeline. You guys, it's on you to do the rest. As a former employer, I can tell you that these two students went above and beyond. They showed up to work every day. They were professional. They did their job. They beat their deadlines, and they went above and beyond their duties that they were required to do. That's something for us to be super proud of. So, Simon, thank you very much for a job well done. I heard nothing but good things from these interns, all of them that did anything through all these programs. And again, it's something I hope we can continue because it speaks volumes whenever students want to come work for us. They believe in what we're doing. I believe Mr. Evans has a video clip to show you guys just a little bit about what they were able to do for me this summer.
That's right. And Simon, just so you know, Mr. Stewart was telling that Simon was so good at what he was doing, he would get done early a lot of times and come to us in communications and say, what can I help you guys work on? He's that kind of guy, and his work right now is also being featured on the homepage for Blackman High School, and Principal Smith today brought him up to me out of the blue and just said, he is an incredible student and is doing so much for us. I asked him to do something for our website, and he just blew us away. So we're going to show you just a piece of this video. It's about a 6-minute video. We're not going to show the full thing, about a minute of it. If you play it, Mr. Cooper.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon Stewart, the Mobile Learning Lab Specialist with the Career and Technical Education Department at Rutherford County Schools. Today, we're going to explore something that affects every single person in this room, our future. But before we get started, I want to ask everyone 3 questions. How many of us have ever wondered what we wanted to do after high school? How many of us have ever changed our minds about what we might want to be one day? And how many of us have recently heard about a career that we didn't even know existed? Those questions are exactly why we're here today. Career exploration isn't about having all the answers. It's about discovering possibilities. And no, I'm not here to tell anyone what career they should choose. I'm here to help us discover the possibilities that are out there and show why exploring careers now can make a huge difference later. We've probably heard this question hundreds of times growing up. What do you want to be? It's a big question. In fact, it can feel overwhelming because there aren't just a few careers to choose from. There are thousands: a teacher, a welder, a pilot, software developer, physical therapist, veterinarian. The list goes on and on.
So we'll stop it there. That's just a small portion of that video that like Simon and some of the others worked on and just did a great job, just knocked out of the park. You might also, we're kind of combining 2 of the agenda items here. We're moving right into the second part 2 of the RCS CTE Mobile Learning Labs. They're the large trailers. We don't have to call them trailers. They're mobile learning labs, but they look like a fifth wheel trailer. They are a fifth wheel trailer. They're going to get me with that later. You also cannot say vocational around Tyra. She's probably already twirling her hair right behind her. But we wanted to showcase this too, because if you may have noticed, Brandon looks a little familiar. He's on the cover of in our mobile labs of this year's Rutherford County Chamber's Rutherford County Magazine. And this is the magazine that the Chamber uses. They produce this every year. We didn't pay for that story. It's what they call earned media. The program has gotten such attention, state, local, national attention, that it is now being used to showcase our county. This is the magazine they show to new businesses who are coming here, new residents. Our own teacher recruiter, she takes these out when we are at recruitment events, teacher events far and wide, and hands those out to prospective teachers too, so they can learn about the county. So it's a big honor to be not only in the magazine, which we usually are, but we are the cover story. So Brandon is also available to sign these after the meeting if you'd like. He's still a little signature. But we wanted to just recognize all of this together. Like Brandon said, it's all about opportunities. We refer to here as post-secondary. What that just means is that what can students do after high school? We want them to have opportunities, whether it's to go into a 2 or 4-year university program or further, or go directly into the workforce. We want to make sure they're equipped before they leave with these different certifications so they can move right into that workforce and do whatever they want to do. And the CTE program under Tyra's leadership has just been doing wonderful things, and a lot of them here are represented tonight. But we also would love to bring up the interns who are here and get a picture with the board if that's okay.
Yes.
We couldn't get them all here, but we want to get as many as we could. So if you could, come on up, please.
Yeah, do you want us to come in front?
Perfect. Squeeze in a little. No pressure. That's okay.
You need to swap with somebody shorter. Let's swap. Swap with him because he's so tall, it's making his face purple.
Okay.
Perfect.
We should have the intern from this. Get there down. Okay. All right, here we go. Ready? 6 months. Okay, great. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have more to brag about. Holloway High School, Dr. Supakhan. What you got? Right in front of you, sorry. Come on up. So Dr. Supakhan, as you all know, is the new principal of Holloway High School and was here a couple of months ago to talk about some of her strategies. We have done some, we have done a promotional video which we're going to show. Right, Cooper? Right. But she's done a ton of work, I know, and she's going to, I'm going to shut up in just a second as soon as we show this video. Why don't you go ahead and talk, and he's going to get it up. Just kind of talk about what you've been doing there. Oh, we may have it. Okay, we got it's coming up.
Okay.
All right, so let's show this promotional video first for Holloway High School, and then Dr. Supakhan is going to elaborate further.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jessica Supakhan, and I am honored to have recently been named the new principal of Holloway High School. When I talk to people across Rutherford County, I often hear the same thing. I've heard of Holloway, but I'm not really sure what it is. The truth is, Holloway High School is one of Rutherford County's hidden gems. Holloway is a public tuition-free choice high school serving students in grades 9 through 12. We offer something that can be hard to find in larger schools, a close-knit community where students are known, valued, and supported. This school is especially meaningful to me because I graduated from Holloway myself. After graduating, I returned to teach here for 11 years, and now I have the privilege of coming back as principal. Holloway helped shape who I am, and I couldn't be more excited about its future. One of the biggest advantages of Holloway is our size. With approximately 160 students, our teachers truly know their students. Students aren't just a number here. They build relationships, gain confidence, and find a place where they belong. We offer unique opportunities through programs in art, music, agriculture, business, fashion design, and interior design. Students can also earn college credit through dual enrollment partnerships with Motlow State Community College, MTSU, and TCAT while still in high school. For students interested in athletics, Holloway offers the chance to compete and be part of a team and represent their school. Some students discover that our smaller school environment gives them the opportunity to participate in athletics when they may not have made a team at a much larger school. If you're looking for a smaller school with big opportunities and a place where students can truly thrive, I invite you to learn more about Holloway High School. Come discover the hidden gem that's been here all along. Holloway High School, where creative learning meets belonging.
Love it.
Well, thank you for having me, and thanks to James for making the video. It was fantastic. The reason that I'm presenting and, have been here before is because Holloway's enrollment has dwindled over the last several years. And we put in the video 160 students. That's max capacity. We have been right around 100 students for the last couple of years, and we need to get to max capacity. So the way to best talk about that is to have people spread the word. And so that's why I'm here. Holloway is very special. It is, an awesome place. I was surprised to see Miss Bouvaji here because she's a former teacher, but has an excellent reputation at Holloway of starting a fantastic biology and gardening club. And that kind of speaks to what you can do at Holloway. Because of the size, you can do a lot of project-based learning, which is what we're known for, and then a lot of close relationships like she spoke about. And so I just, expect the enrollment to increase. We have been doing a lot of things over the summer. We've been doing a lot of painting. We've been cleaning up classrooms. We have, been talking to everybody that we could, going and talking to the Rotary Club. So we expect enrollment to increase, but if there's anyone that is watching tonight that might not have heard about Holloway before, I invite you to call me at the school, email me. All of the information about applying, including the application, is on the website. We also are having a back-to-school bash at Holloway on August 1st from 12 until 3. We are going to have free backpacks, food boxes, bounce houses, a dunk tank, and we thank Heart of Hearts organization for sponsoring that. They did that last year at Blackman and are doing it this year at Holloway, so we're very excited about that. And if anyone's listening tonight and thinking, I wonder what that's all about, come out to the Back to School Bash on August 1st and talk to us. We'll have a ton of teachers there, and we are just looking for students that need a smaller environment. That's really our niche now. We offer that small class size, and every teacher knows every student. So thank you all for having me tonight.
Yes, Ms. Sharp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Supakhan, do we offer transportation? Because I know that's going to be one of the things that they're going to ask about.
Yes.
From the north end of the county to Holloway. Can you talk about that?
Thanks for reminding me. It is a choice school, so transportation needs to be provided by the parents, except for there are 4 buses that come from Smyrna and Laverne area. So there is an option if you're in Smyrna or Laverne to ride the bus, and you can call us to get more information about that. It's also on our website, but within Murfreesboro, it is parents providing transportation or students. Anybody else have a question?
I just want you to know, when you came here before and you announced all the changes, I got really excited. So I have been, people may not know this, but I have 2 schools in my zone. It's not just Riverdale, I have Holloway too. So I have been singing your praises. The video is wonderful. I know it's going to help recruit a lot more kids, and I say exactly that. If you like all that Rutherford County schools offer, but you want it in a smaller package, that's what Holloway is for.
That's us, yes.
So I thank you so much. You're going to do a great job, and I know this is going to be successful.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to say anything?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Darby.
I don't know who this would be better geared for, but have we pushed this out yet, the video? Or is this kind of the unveiling?
No, ma'am, it was pushed out at the end of June.
Okay.
So we've started doing that, and we'll continue to use it and reuse it, and we have some other things coming up as well.
I have to say, I'm so excited about that video. I know I've talked to several friends of mine whose kids were struggling in some of our bigger schools, and people just they're just unaware of Holloway. So I think if we can get the message out about the school, and I think the video is a fantastic way to do that, I think you're going to see some enrollment climb.
Well, we've talked a lot about branding. Holloway's been a lot of things over the years. It's got a long storied history, of course, and so even in my own family, I asked my wife if she knew what Holloway was, and she wasn't sure. And so we're trying to help Dr. Supakhan do that, to draw more attention so that people know what like you said, a hidden gem that it is. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, I know we have one more bonus item that's not on the agenda.
We are, but let's go ahead and, because we have 3 people, so let's go ahead and introduce all 3 of them real quick, and before we get to that. So we have 3 of our central office staff here with us. So we have Jenna Jones, Greg Wyatt, and Stephen McClanahan. And so we have our first 2 are our athletic team, and then Stephen McClanahan is our new safety director. And so you guys just real quick want to introduce yourself. I know a lot of people know you, Coach Wyatt, but just in case they don't.
I'm Greg Wine. I'm the new athletic director of Rutherford County Schools. I'm incredibly honored to be here. I'm incredibly honored to be in the role that I'm at. I've been in Rutherford County athletics for 34 years. There's no better place in the state of Tennessee, and I've been a lot of places than Rutherford County Schools. And I'm not just talking about athletics. I'm talking about academics. I'm talking about the arts and the athletics involved. We have the best school district in the state by far.
They didn't know I was doing this either, so this is all.
My name is Jenna Jones. I was hired as the athletic supervisor, so a lot of the athletic compliance will fall under me. Greg and I have actually had the honor of working together at our state association before, so this transition has been amazing for us. As somebody who's new to Rutherford County Schools, not to the area, but to the schools, it has been nothing but a warm welcome, and getting to know our principals and ADs has been amazing, so I'm really looking forward to all the work here.
And that's really, when we were looking for hiring a team, it took us a little bit longer, but we were trying to find a team. And so Greg was, of course, very well known in the public school world, and Jen is very well known in the private school world. So one of my biggest worries is making sure that we keep our students here in the county and don't lose them to private schools. So I figured, why not pick off one of the private schools' athletic directors to do it? And so that was our strategy.
I'm Stephen Clanahan, new safety director. I come from Riverton High School. Structure setting. I have previously been in law enforcement. I was a school resource officer at Laverne, early 2000s. Bringing that to the job. I second the previous two about Rutherford County. It's great. One of my sons just graduated. The other one's going to be a junior. I know some of the board members, Mr. Vaughn, Ms. Maxwell, as well as these guys over here. We do a really good job, and we're excited about it. Everything that's going on. If I could add, the labs. I got to tour those yesterday, and it was just nice job. That's amazing. That's amazing. So it's a great job. But thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right, Greg and Jenna, I think I will turn this over to you now.
Yeah, we make them start working immediately.
We do.
As you all know, we have been trying to honor all of our spring sports throughout the summer. We did our track and field and things like that in the spring, and we've done Stewart's Creek softball, and then they're here to do the best tonight, and they're here to honor someone else. So I want to turn over to you guys.
Before we get to Eagleville softball, I do want to brag on some schools in Rutherford County. TSSAA sportsmanship a report came out last month. We have 6 schools in our district that had no disciplinary actions, and that means that we had no coaches, no players, or no fans that were ejected from these schools, which is an incredible thing. Central Magnet and Eagleville High Schools were on this list. Central Magnet, Eagleville, Oakland, and Rocky Fork, and Stewart's Creek Middle Schools were on this list. So I want to congratulate those schools and their principals, ADs, and student athletes for a job well done as far as sportsmanship is concerned. Now on to Eagleville High School here. These guys are back-to-back state champions in 1A. They've won 3 of the last 5 state championships in 1A, and they've also competed in 5 of the last 6 championship games, which is an incredible feat in itself. They finished 20-7 on this year. They beat McEwen 2-1 in a championship game. And these are some really incredible stats as far as I'm concerned. From the district champion, from the time that the district tournament started all the way to the state final, they hit 21 home runs in that time. They had 18 double plays. They scored 110 runs while only giving up 24 in that period of time. 110 runs, that's incredible. I don't know. I've been on football teams that hadn't scored 110 points. So, the team battled through a bunch of rain delays. If you followed the spring fling whatsoever, you know that there had to be some resilience because there were a lot of games that were rescheduled, postponed, and they fought through that to get to where they were. They have 3 members that made the D&J All-Area team. Sophomore Ellie Wynn made first team D&J All-Area. Second team D&J was junior Ashton Walker and junior Madison Davenport. The Tennessee and All-Mid-State junior Madison Kendrick made that team. And then they had 3 that were named to the Tennessee Sports Writers Association All-State team. And Ashton Walker, Madison Kendrick, and Ellie Wynn, all 3 that made that team. And then sophomore Ellie Wynn was also named the championship game MVP. The incredible thing is they didn't start a senior. No pressure, Coach Lehman. No pressure whatsoever on you at all. But hope to see you here again next summer With my great pleasure, I want to introduce Coach Lehman and his softball team to come up here.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all having us. We have 4 here because most of them are still playing too, so it being a summer, so they're still playing. But I do want to reiterate what he said. Miss Oliver, if you would, please stand. She's going to kill me. But this is one of the reasons we was able to do what we did, because as the schedule changes, girls have to eat. And so she made sure that our schedule was defined and where we needed to be, what we needed to do. So I just want, she don't ever get the recognition she deserves, so I want to be, she don't want it, but I want to make sure she got it. So we do appreciate that. And we thank the board for always taking care of us. Dr. Sullivan, as my other hat, Mayor of Eagleville, we do appreciate all you do for the city of Eagleville and for our school. So we thank y'all. We do appreciate y'all, and thank you for having us today.
Can I get a short sleeve polo this time so
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a
Not wearing
sweater?
a sweat.
So I'm not wearing a sweater out there in May?
He was part of the old changing of the whole, we started off one day supposed to play at 9, got moved to 6, then got moved back to 3, all in one day. And the girls just came back and just, they didn't bat an eye. We just went and played ball.
I was dressed for 9 o'clock.
I'd like to say one thing about that game at Riverdale. I'll tell you what, I've earned a good pair of shoes because it rained so much out there. It was ankle deep where I was, and I was on the tent right there with Brian Barrett and them trying to get out of the rain, and I looked down and water was over my shoes. So, but I'm glad y'all won because at least it made it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Congratulations.
And that
And to hear lightning delay one more time, I was going to lose my mind.
in that last championship game, I mean, it was all the runs were scored in the first inning. If I reversed or second right off the bat, and it was
It was a great ball game for sure. Everybody got their money's worth or whatever they got worth. I don't know. I couldn't remember how many times we'd been there. So it was just, like I said, we rested well after that was over with. But thank y'all.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very.
I'd like to say one thing too while we're moving around. The choices for the athletic director and people like that and the safety directors, really good choices. They're really good folks, and it's going to be good to work with them.
Before we left, I was going to say, and today's a special day for Mr. White.
It's his birthday.
It's his birthday.
Yeah, he talked to principals for the first time on his birthday as athletic director. So,
Okay, moving on. Number 8, human resources.
all right, first we have an MOU between Centerstone and Rutherford County Schools.
I entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Tidwell. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next,
Next is the MOU between Volunteer Behavioral Health Care and Rutherford County Schools.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Thank you, Ms. Darby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next,
And then third is the MOU between STARS and Rutherford County Schools.
Move to approve.
thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Thank you, Mr. Vaught. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, number 4, we have 26-27 tenure recommendation. These are additions to what we did in January or February from teachers that have earned it since. Following teachers meet the criteria for tenure in accordance with tenure law, and you will see we have 7 of those.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next,
Now we move into a couple other housekeeping. First, we have an updated job description for Communication Specialist 2.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tidwell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next,
Next one is an updated job description for Communication and Legal Associate.
I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Thank you, Mr. Vaught. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And then the last one for this part is the updated job description for the Family and Resource Manager, which was previously the Family Engagement Facilitator for Atlas.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we can go into instruction.
First, we have the Carl D. Perkins Reserve Grant that's presented for approval for the funding period of July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. This competitive grants for $50,000. The Carl D. Perkins Reserve Grant provides funding for Allen Bradley and Siemens PLC trainers for the Mechatronic CTE program of study at Oakland High School.
What will we do without this grant? Thank you, Mr. Vaughn.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tidwell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next.
Director of Coordinated School Health and Wellness Textbook Adoption, Section E Committee respectfully recommends action regarding the following instructional materials for physical education and health for K-12. This has been reviewed by the approved committee and has been approved for recommendation by Tennessee Textbook and Instructional Material Quality Commission and the Tennessee State Board of Education. The committee recommends the materials below, but we do not intend to purchase. And again, that's a state law we have to adopt, but we do not have to purchase.
I'll entertain a motion. Oh, thank you, Mr. Bott. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next.
Next, we have, according to Tennessee Code Annotated 49.6.13.04, students enrolled in kindergarten through 12th grade should receive child trafficking prevention and awareness education as a component of health education. You'll see our plan and curriculum used for Aaron's Law covers the child trafficking health standards. So K-5 is safer and smarter kids, 6-8 safer, smarter teens with middle school, and then 9-12 you will see that we have safer and smarter teens for high school. We have our plans as well for parent nights, continuing to work with the Association for the National Association for Human Trafficking Coalition, and then we will continue to send information through our communications team. You'll see we do have that opt-out option there. It is part of our online Synergy enrollment, but we also, parents can update that at any time.
I am
Move
so
to
pleased we
approve.
were able to work that out.
Yeah, move to approve. It's going to really be something very important.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales. Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have legal.
First on tab 3, Town of Smyrna Parks and Recreation yearly lease renewal. Town of Smyrna Parks and Recreation currently leases 35 acres behind Smyrna Elementary School. Current lease is set to expire on August 31st, 2026. However, the lease allows the Town of Smyrna to request a 1-year extension. Town of Smyrna has made the request, which if approved, extend the lease expiration date to August 31st, 2027.
I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Thank you, Ms. Darby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next.
This is a new job description, but not a new title. When our Title IX duties were, or not a new position, sorry. Our Title IX duties were originally assigned to the paralegal position. However, we have a Title IX coordinator, and so we need a job description to match that. Again, not a new position, already exists.
I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Thank you, Ms. Darby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, now we get into policy changes. We read all these on Tuesday night. If it's all right with the board, if I just read the number and the
Yes, that would be
Yes.
All right, so first, the below policy changes and new policies are recommended on the first and final reading as they're necessary to take effect before the start of the 26-27 school year. And again, I'm just going to read the number and the title. Policy 1.400, school board meetings. Policy 1.403, agendas. 1.703, school attendance zones and exemptions. 1.901, charter school applications. 1.904, charter school intervention. 1.905, charter school renewal. 2.100, fiscal management goals. 2.200, annual operating budget. 4.100, instructional program. 4.208, adult education program. 4.209, alternative credit options. 4.213, family life education. 4.300, extracurricular activities. 4.301, interscholastic athletics. Policy 4.600, grading system. 4.602, grade point average or GPA. 4.603, promotion and retention. 4.604, credit for prior courses. 4.605, graduation requirements. 4.700, testing programs. 5.104, equal opportunity employment. 5.106, application and employment. 5.200, separation practices for tenured teachers. 5.201, separation practices for non-tenured teachers. 5.302, sick leave. 5.303, personal and professional leave. 5.501, complaints and grievances. Policy 5.600, staff rights and responsibilities. 5.801, director of schools recruitment and selection. Policy 6.200, attendance. 6.201, compulsory attendance ages. 6.202, homeschools. 6.205, student assignments. 6.301, rights and responsibilities of students. 6.303, questioning, interrogations, and searches. 6.304, student discrimination, harassment, bullying, cyberbullying, and intimidation. 6.3041, Title IX and sexual harassment. 6.306, interference, disruption of school activities. 6.318, admission of suspended or expelled students. 6.412, emergency allergy response plan. 6.414, prevention and treatment of sudden cardiac arrest. 6.506, students from military families. And then we have 3 new policies. Policy 4.215, instructional use of digital devices. Policy 6.100, student goals. And then policy 6.4053, outside applied behavior analyst therapy. And we would need 2 motions if the board's request that we'd recommend. First is suspend board policy 1.600 to specifically waive the 2 readings requirement. And if that passes, then we would need a second one to approve and adopt on the first.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the, thank you, Ms. Rosales.
Suspend
Second.
board policy 1.60 to specifically waive the 2 readings requirement for the above policies.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales, and thank you, Mr. Vaughn, for seconding it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next.
And next, we would appreciate a recommended approval to adopt these on the first and final reading.
Move to adopt.
Thank you. Is that Mr. Titwell?
Yes.
Mr. Titwell, and thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we move on to engineering and construction.
We've got a consumer marketing.
I'm
real
so
quick.
sorry.
Yep, consumer, you're just trying to not give Oakland High School,
I'm
aren't
so
you? I know
sorry.
what you're trying to
Don't
do
want
over
to
here.
short you.
Yeah, no, just messing with you. Consumer marketing agreement between Coca-Cola and Oakland High School.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Titwell. Although I do think Mr. Nolan that Riverdale did have this same
Probably.
contract. Maybe a day ago. Okay, number 11, now engineering.
We didn't do
Okay.
a call. We didn't vote yet.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So
I'm
sorry.
really trying to think that's not intentional.
I'm very happy for Oakland. Really, I am. Number 11.
All right. Number 1, we discussed on Tuesday, is not an option. That was not funded in the governor's budget. Number 2, Blackman Middle School storage shed request. Dr. Jessica Jackson requesting to purchase a 12x14 storage shed to be used by the archery team. The cost for the shed is $5,702.22 and at no cost to the board. All funds have been raised by the archery team and are in their account. Engineering Construction has reviewed the request and has no objections.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next.
Next, we have Middle Tennessee Electric easement request at Central Magnet. Middle Tennessee Electric is requesting an additional easement for a new pole and anchor guy wire on the corner of East Main Street and North Bilbro Avenue. Engineering Construction has reviewed the request and has no objections.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next, you have a list of contractors that have requested board approval to lease a bus, and it would be our recommendation to approve that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tidwell. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next.
Number 5 does not need a motion, it's just for information. We talked about this on Tuesday night, that the school plans to utilize $59,750 of their own money to take care of some inadequate subsoil, and if not, they may use some of their 177 funds that we allocate to the school. No action needed, just as an FYI.
Okay. Next.
All right, next we discussed this. This was on our consent agenda. We pulled it out, so it's up to the board. We have bus route 330 voluntary route transfer, and so you can see transportation received a voluntary route termination and transfer from Gail Porter. Ms. Porter states that due to financial constraints and other issues and concerns, she's requesting to transfer her contract route 330 to RAK Construction. Ms. Porter states that Kelly Hobbs with RAK Transportation has managed every aspect of this route since she has had it, from the actual ownership of the bus to handling all route issues, paperwork, and anything else involved with the route, including being the driver. So we just would like some guidance from the board, either to award this or to put it to the selection.
I just make a motion, we approve the transfer.
To the Pickerel?
No, just transfer it to,
Does anyone want to second that? That we approve the transfer to the RKK, from Kelly Hobbs to RAK Transportation. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Yes, Mr. Vaughn.
Now, question, and kind of going back to that, this is, and I'm trying to think out loud right here. Is this similar to what we have generally done in years past? Not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to direct this question to you. Is these transfers like this have been generally family members? And we've tried to honor that husband, father, son, in-law, outlaw, something like that. That's generally been the case, right?
Until the Mr. Carter issue, that is correct.
So, and that's what's bothering me about this. Is this another situation like that? And I'm not trying to accuse anybody of doing anything wrong, but are we defeating the purpose of the policy that we just created to try to level the playing field and put it back on the picker wheel anytime one of these routes comes up? I'm trying to figure out why is this one different than anybody else's, than any other voluntary transfer or give up? Is there?
It's not a family.
That's what I'm gathering. There's no family relationship.
No family relationship.
Okay.
So, all right. So,
Mr. Tidwell, did you have something to say?
Yeah, as I understood it from the work session, this was just a request, and you're trying to be transparent about that request and put it on the agenda. But I will echo the comments from Mr. Vaught that, we've set a policy in for this picker wheel to be in place. I appreciate the transparency from the Transportation Department, but I wouldn't support the motion simply because we have a policy addressing these things. We don't want to get back into the accusations of favoritism and all these things. If it was a family member, I think there's a little bit of a different circumstance there. But I would rather see this go back to the picker wheel and be back out so there's no accusations made around, well, you guys aren't following your policy or why'd you even develop the policy? So that's my opinion.
Okay. So, yes,
and
Mr. Vaughn.
I'll go back to that, Caleb. That's where my brain is right now. I got a phone call yesterday that we've got one coming, I think, next month. Probably.
It's going to have to be before next month because we got to start routes.
Or in 2 weeks or whatever.
On the 4th.
And I forgot the people's names, to tell you the truth, but I knew it was a father and a daughter, right?
I have not seen it yet, but I've also heard that it's coming.
Okay,
But
well,
I have
they
not
called
seen
me
it.
and I told them to call you and Tammy and that one I can kind of see. This one I'm not sure. So, I don't want this to come back and haunt us. That's what's bothered me about it. So I'm kind of back with you, Mr. Tidwell, on that.
Well, we do have a motion on the floor to go ahead and allow the moving it from Ms. Kelly Hobbs to RAK Transportation. So we need to go ahead and vote on that, and then you all can up or down. Okay, if you could. Yes. If you could restate the motion, too.
Okay. As I understand it, the motion was made by Mr. Vaughn to approve and seconded by Ms. Sharp to approve the transfer as requested.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Vaught? Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mrs. Darby? No. Ms. Sharp? Mr. Tidwell?
No.
Mrs. Rosales?
No.
Mrs. Maxwell?
Yes.
Motion fails.
Okay.
So do we need a motion?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I would so move to do that, to put it back on the
Thank you,
picker
Mr.
wheel.
Vaught.
Follow
Thank you, Ms.
policy.
Rosales.
You want this?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right, this is a motion from Mr. Vaught and seconded by Mrs. Rosales to send this back to the picker wheel, this route. Mr. Tidwell?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosales?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp? Mr. Vaught?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mrs. Darby? And Mrs. Maxwell?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous.
Board. I'm going to verify this on Monday because we're off tomorrow. But the the way I read it, they're requesting to transfer, not to turn it in. So if we deny the transfer, they may still keep the route as is.
Ms. Maxwell?
Okay.
It hadn't been turned in, they were requesting to transfer.
Okay, let me get Mr. Tidwell first and then you. Okay,
Yeah,
Mr.
so basically you're just saying, we've made a motion here that if
If they decide they want to turn it in,
yeah, we have a
it
plan.
has to go to the picker wheel.
We got a plan for that. If they
Yes.
don't turn it in, that's up to
If
them.
they just keep running like they're running with a lease.
Yeah, they can rescind it. They have the
I'm
ability
just
to.
making sure that we're clear.
Okay.
Sure.
And I don't know what their intent is. Their intent was to transfer. It doesn't say turn it in. So I'll find out on Monday. If they decide to keep it, they keep it
Yeah.
like it is.
Either way, we got a plan in place now.
Yes,
All right.
you're correct.
Ms. Darby, and then I'm right, and then Ms. Darby, and then Mr. Vaught.
Just to clarify, they don't have a lease on file with the office currently?
They do.
They do?
Yes.
Okay. So they would just have to get,
They don't have to do anything if they, if we deny the transfer, they haven't said we're turning the route in.
I
They've asked to
understand that
transfer.
part. I was just going back to, because we have all of these leases
They
here
would be on the list for a lease.
for the, like on the
Yes,
next
yes,
meeting. That's
yes,
what I was just
correct,
asking. Okay,
correct,
thank you.
yes.
Okay, Mr. Vaught?
Yeah, to clear it up, I think, that this lady has been leasing her bus from them, and I don't know whether she doesn't want to continue to lease it or do whatever, but, you know, she may, if I understand it right, Gail may want to stay in business. Gail wants to stay in business, she can stay in business, right? Yeah. So it's up to her. If she doesn't want to stay in business, she turns her route in, it goes back on the picker wheel. Gail may want to stay in business. It's her option, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we're not throwing her off.
No.
All right, good.
No.
That's the way
No.
I understand it.
Okay.
Everybody else stand it?
Any other
same way?
questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Tidwell.
And just for clarity's sake, I mean, this lady that is asking for the transfer, she can put her name for the picker wheel. There may not be anybody else that puts their name in for it, and she may end up getting the route anyways. But we are going to go through the policy as if the transfer goes.
If I get paperwork to turn it in, you won't hear another thing. It'll just go on the picker wheel.
Thank you.
Okay, good deal. Okay, next, financial matters.
All right, so we just had this earlier in the summer, and this is dental insurance, either a decision to stay with the state plan for dental or move to another option. It was our recommendation to move to our other option, and so if that's the will of the board, then we would need a motion to do so.
Wasn't the overwhelmingly wanted to, yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
And that is, again, only for dental, not for medical.
it's for dental,
Yep.
yes, I got you.
Yes, because we have to notify the state by August 1st if we're leaving.
Yes, Ms. Sharp.
Madam Chair, I move to move our dental insurance back to Delta Dental.
Okay, do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Vaught. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, director's update.
So a couple things. First, we have our principal meeting today and tomorrow. So thank our teams and all of our principals. So we had really good energy today to discuss just how we're getting the school year rolling. Also, ribbon cutting is 2 o'clock for Poplar Hill Middle School on this coming Sunday. We have also rolled out, as you've seen online, our new platform for student enrollment. Overall, I'm happy with where we are because there are other districts who went with a different vendor who do not have yet access to a lot of the information they need. And so we are, in a district our size, the way that we rolled it out, our notification said 22nd or 23rd. And so we did all elementary notifications to parent emails, then we did middle school, then we went through high school. And so those emails have been sent out. We are working through Dr. Chastain and Tori Atwood's team with attendance. It's nonstop troubleshooting, but anytime you're moving 52,000 kids and all of their parents and guardians, it's a huge task. And so, Dr. Chastain, anything you want to add to that? They've done amazing.
Yeah, it actually has gone really well, and the team's worked really hard. So hats off to Tori and her team. Just to reiterate that everybody has a seat. It is, the seats are secure. Whatever issues we may be having, if they're having trouble with getting that activation or that linkage key, stay patient. They're there. We just have to get them where they have access to see their kid's account. But everything is going well.
Wonderful.
All right, couple quick other things. We talked about open bus routes. And so a couple options I think that we have. One, really we have two. So we know that we have open bus routes, 9 or 10 open bus routes. We discussed on Tuesday night the potential to look at changing the job description for our bus driver position that we originally looked at. I think that would be my recommendation tonight. We have it on the agenda so we can vote, is to make that instead of changing pay or anything right now, make that a full-time position with benefits at 6 hours. That'll see if we can do anything before August 4th. If we don't have enough takers or anything by August 4th, we do have options and we have been contacted. And I hope we don't have to get here by a different vendor in a different county, which would be similar to what our other contractors have, but they have contacted us to see if they were interested in taking some of our open routes. Anything else you want to add to that? I don't think they want to be disclosed yet, but I want to go down that route. But in policy I think this policy is 3.400. It's on page 5, it's lines 34 through 35, so that everybody knows what we're talking about. It talks about application of intent to provide services, and applications will be maintained until the director of schools determines it's necessary to award new contracts for transportation services. If we're getting to the point that we don't have applicants and we don't have any new people willing to take our bids, we've got to start looking somewhere to get our buses filled. So not an angle we want to go down, but it's something that we may have to.
Yes, Mr. Vaught.
And I guess it's a question time. I don't want to jump the gun here, but, okay, so you've had a vendor approach you that said they might be interested. Any pricing, any numbers?
Have to go by our contract.
Do what?
They'd have to go by our contract. We sent them our contract.
They'd have to sign the same contract as everybody else.
Oh, so it's just an open vendor that
It'd
they,
be just like a bus driver that's been driving for us decides they want to become a contractor, and they put in an application to become a contractor. If they take a route, they have to sign the same contract everybody else signs.
it's just a company instead of an individual, is
Yes.
what you're saying.
And we say individual because we're used to dealing with
Right.
folks that we know that are contractors, but they're a business too.
Right.
So it's no different. It's just a vendor who's not from our normal pool.
Okay, so legally or morally or whatever you want to look at, they could fall under the same auspice. They could have up to 10 routes unless it came before the.
Follow everything everybody else does.
So you do have, A, you have that option. B, we have 10 buses.
Correct.
Sitting. Now, are these routes big routes or sped routes? What are they?
They're 6 and 3, 6 sped, 3 regular.
Okay, forgive me, I don't remember what we bought bus-wise. What did we buy?
5 and 3. We have 8, I think.
There, because we're waiting on one still. Yep.
Did we buy 9 or 10?
I believe we bought 9. I have to go back and look exactly.
Okay, nobody else, okay, that makes.
No, it's not just you, no.
Oh, okay, well, good, but do we have the right equipment to fill the routes that are available? That's
Pretty
a
close,
question.
yes, pretty close.
Okay, so then why wouldn't, since we have the equipment, why wouldn't we do everything we can if we need, to change the route, the job description, or pay more or offer benefits? It looks like to me that would be the first thing, unless, if we could exhaust that.
Current competition, counties around us and our system.
Sure.
Most of them are all 6 hours with benefits.
What is our job description?
Part-time, no benefits.
What is your recommendation?
That we go to 6 hours and benefits.
So do you need a motion from us to do that?
Yeah, it would change the job description for that, yeah.
I would so move to do that then. Because I feel like this needs to be expedited, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm kind of looking at both of y'all right here.
If we don't get any applicants, I think that changes where we're going. We've
So
tried.
if you don't get any applicants, then we either,
May have to look
I mean,
at
it's
something
supply, my simple mind works like this, it's supply and demand. If you raise the price high enough, I'll do anything myself, you know. Right, I mean,
Yes,
that's what it
yes,
is,
yes.
it's supply and demand, so the supply is limited, so, and we've got greater demand, so you just raise the price of it. Now, at some point in time, I guess we get to paying so much, you know, that it becomes redundant and it's cheaper to contract out with somebody else. But right now, I personally feel like, to be prudent, watching taxpayer dollars, we went to bat, we bought the new buses, we need to get drivers in those buses and utilize that equipment and see, because the whole idea was, let's see how it's going to work. Do we want to, start migrating toward the system, some type of hybrid system where we own, 20% of the, I say we, the board own 20% of the buses or 30% of the buses or 10% of the buses or whatever. So that, I would move to do that. Let's expedite it.
So before we get to Ms. Darby, I haven't forgotten you. Mr. Vaught has a motion to approve the change, the job description to 6 hours with benefits, and Mr. Vaughn has seconded. Okay, Ms. Darby, you're next.
Dr. Sullivan, what is the pay for that job description
Pull
currently?
that up. It's R, give me just a second, I'll pull it up.
Isn't it 25 or?
It starts at 24.
24.
Something. I'm pulling it up real quick. Y'all can keep having a discussion while I pull it up.
Where is do we know where that is in line with surrounding counties?
And most of them,
And 6 hours benefits?
that's what's getting us is out. We're a little bit lower than Murfreesboro City at the very beginning, but we do a lot more years of experience, so they could earn a lot more if it's a veteran driver. But
But that's only going to be if we have veteran drivers that are further down that experience. So do we need to look at changing that starting level?
Let me pull it up real quick.
I would think our next step is the 6 hours with our current level and the benefits. And if we don't get the reactions that we're looking for, then that would be the next step. We're
So I
going to
guess
be
my-
we're going to be on a pretty close to even, but if they've got 15 or 20 years, we're probably going to be ahead.
Well, that's what I figured. That, making the change that you just made the motion for kind of puts us on level playing field.
Or ahead, depending on years.
Yeah, we have bus drivers.
Go ahead.
We have bus drivers at R107, and 107 starts at 2324 and ends all the way at 30. Sure, I'm following that. 3489.
So I guess my next question would be, as close as we are to the start of the school year, how long do we want to give this to see results before you talk about, or do we just do it all in one and see if that produces the applicants? I mean, because we're looking at 9 people.
Yep.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Tidwell.
I didn't mean to cut your question off. Okay.
You're good.
So right now, so we don't get any of these routes filled. We don't have enough applicants, or we have applicants, but they don't have the proper licensing, whatever. Do we have coverage that we're splitting between routes?
Yes.
Okay. So there is a contingent backup plan. I'm not saying we're not in desperate mode, but I'm sure there's a contingency plan. So, starting with the description, perhaps we don't get anything between now and the 4th, which would be our next board meeting. I know we're very close to schools opening back up, but there is a plan in place. Then maybe we can move on to the next step. And it sounds like the next step would be offering this potential vendor. So, I don't know, just making sure we had a plan in place, but I appreciate that.
Can I real quick?
Yes, Dr. Sullivan.
Just to compare, I hate to call a district out, but it's public knowledge. So city schools are at part-time 2509, and it stays 2509 all the way through. But full-time starts at 2248 and goes all the way to 2880. So you can see we're right there in the middle, but we also haven't had any hits.
All right, I'm fixing to chase another rabbit right here. Can anybody, HR, can you tell me what the benefit package costs?
It depends on what package they pick. If they have a family plan or individual plan, they'd have choices within those levels. So
Can you give me a range? I know that's on the spot, off the cuff, right?
Between 2,000 and 24,000.
that's a good range. It could be as low as an individual
2 and
plan with the
24,
HSA to a
individual,
family plan.
Whether they're individual, HSA, family, choosing the full, it could be anywhere between
The reason I said that, I almost, and this may get us all in trouble doing this, but I'm sitting there thinking out loud, if let's say there's I don't know, I was fixing to think if there's a retired truck driver out there that's 65 plus, it's already on Medicare, still got his health card, or she still got her health card. She doesn't need the benefit package. Could we increase the pay as an incentive? I mean, that's when I'm trying to put a dollar figure on what the benefit package would. Hey, they don't need it. They just need an hourly job. Can we jack the rate up there to where we get those good, dependable, and the reason I say that, it's kind of good, dependable people that may be looking for some, maybe they'd come off the road, at 65 or something, but they're piddling their thumbs at home and they don't, hey, this is a pretty good gig, 6 hours. I'm thinking out loud with you, Trey. That's the reason I keep looking at you.
I've got
another one of my harebrained ideas.
I think my recommendation would be just like we have on some of our other positions, we have if it's classified or certified. We could do, if it is somebody with benefits, R107, 6 hours with benefits, and if they are not with benefits, then we could do R109, which starts instead of 23.24, it's 25.63.
Can I amend my motion?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd say we offer either or.
Okay. So
That's what I'm thinking. Okay? Who seconded that?
Gives us options.
Mr. Vaughn?
Well, you good with that? You see what I'm doing? Is that good with everybody?
I think that's a nice compromise.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, so next we're going to talk about TCAP performance because our students are truly what matters, and so I am going to go over this and make sure this works. Yep, we're good. All right, so one, I talked to Representative Terry just a little while ago to make sure I have permission to use this, but he wrote an amazing article a couple months ago that really talked about assessment and how assessment should work, and so I'm going to quote a little bit of his. And so he talked about TCAP and assessment and how one of the things, this is me adding, not him, but one of the things as school systems we get is that we have pundits and critics who often like to target public schools and districts when we celebrate being 50% proficient. And we do acknowledge that proficiency and how many students are on grade level. And so before we really go down this road of showing some of this data, because it's a celebration, one of the questions, and it's a simple question, is the work we're asking our students to do today, is that the same work that we were asked to do? And I'd argue no. I see that work. I see the work at home. I see the work in our classrooms. It is much more rigorous. And so often we hear from various people who say that the work today is much harder. We didn't do that in school. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to help my kid. And so really two things can't be true. One, our education system can't be dumbing it down, but the work is getting harder for our kids. Those two just don't go together. And really, Brian Terry had a great article again. He talked about what happened in 2007 is that, and those of us in education know this very well because we lived it, we went from 90% of our kids were proficient overnight to the next year 20% of our kids were proficient. So in 2007, state assessments reported in Tennessee that 90% of our kids were proficient, yet when students took that national test, which is NAEP, only about 25% of our kids were proficient. In response, Tennessee went through a series of rigorous reforms to strengthen academic standards, increase rigor, and better align our assessments. I actually served as one of those educators personally that worked with legislators in 2016 that rewrote from proficient to advanced to mastered and on track under Commissioner McQueen. She was my teacher and mentor at Lipscomb, so I missed that connection when she was the commissioner, and I think Dr. Stretch, you worked for her too at the commission? I thought so. And so that was some rewarding work. So when I nerd out sometimes about academics and testing, it's because I was on the ground level of helping set some of this. And so we reclassified that as mastered and on track, demonstrating command of grade level standards. And this is what's different. I know when I took TCAP or Terra Nova or whatever they called it the year that we took assessments in this state, I know I went way back on that one. Our questions would be to answer A through D. And you'd have to spell a word right, pick the right version of there, or maybe do math, a very simple equation without any type of calculator whatsoever. That's not the way TCAP looks anymore. If you want to look at sample questions, they're online, you can go look at those. And so instead, our kids now have to master grade level standards and demonstrate they can do those with analytical thinking, evidence-based reasoning, complex problem solving. It is a lot more than just an A through a D answer that they have to do. He talks further about one of the most common misconceptions is that proficiency ranks should approach, or rate should be 80 to 90%, when really our strongest states in the United States perform at the 40 to 50% rate. And that's where our strongest states across the nation are. We're about in the middle. We've improved from being 49th 48th or 49th to the mid-30s and even in the high 20s now. And I loved what he said next. This doesn't indicate failure, it reflects the rigor of assessment. And a state reporting 50% proficiency may be outperforming a state substantially performing with a higher percentage. That assessments require a higher order thinking to apply, analyze, evaluate, and create instead of just remember and understand. And then one of the last things I wanted to hit was he had proficiency should not be confused with basic grade level readiness. So we hear a lot of times and see a lot of times online where people say, this kid's not proficient, only 30% of their kids are proficient, they're not ready for the next grade level. That's not what it stands for. Kids very well could possess that foundational knowledge necessary to advance to the next grade level. They just can't do the analytical, the complex thinking yet. So they've got the skill set, they don't know how to apply it yet. And so our district, and I'm gonna go over this pretty quickly, we continue to shine. We, as you all know, have had a huge change in demographic. So since 2017, our ESL enrollment has doubled. And we love serving our students, but there's also reason at the same time to believe if you are learning English, it is going to be hard at that same time to be proficient on an English language arts assessment. Yet we continue to move forward and outpace some of our peers. Right now, we have 8,400 English language learners ending last year. So it's stayed consistent with where we've been, about 17 to 19% of our population. We then have about 10% of our district who are served under special education with IEPs. Again, that doesn't change what we believe. We have a lot of our students who may be served under speech impairment or vision or gifted. It's not just what you think of special education means a kid's going to struggle. And so we have to take that into account. That's about 30% of our population. Overall, Rutherford County Schools was over 50% in all subjects. There are 147 districts in the state. Only 30 districts scored over 50% in all grade levels. That's even a bigger deal when you take into account that most districts that are performing well don't have high school. We like to say that or not, but your highest performing grade levels, elementary is your highest, middle is your second, high school is your lowest. You're dealing with motivation, work, all kinds of different things. So scores usually decline as you get to high school. So we are one of the 30 districts that has over 50% proficient, but it'd be even smaller if you took out the high school kids. So I think, and I'm going to go into stats, but I think Mr. Tidwell, do you have a question?
I was going to ask you to repeat that statistic. You said over 50%.
Yeah, we have 147 districts, only 30 of them, including us, have over 50% of our students that have met or exceeded expectations, which means proficient in all subject areas.
Thank you.
And so just quickly, I'll show you, and you're going to be able to see a trend from 2021 to 2026. ELA 2021, 36.7 to right now we're at 48.9 in third through fifth grade. 6 through 8, we go from 33.7, and I'll send this to everybody, to 45.5. The difference for us is we actually do really well at English at the high school level. We go from 39.2 in English 1 in 2021 to 52.2. And then in English 2, we are at 47%, and now we're at 65.2. And so we're really starting to excel in a lot of those areas. So overall, ELA, you'll see we've gone from 37.3 to 50.3, so a 13% increase in 5 years. And I know that 13, we'd always love to have it more, but what does that represent? As big as we are, we're talking about thousands of kids who are proficient who were not proficient beforehand. So that's a credit to our teachers, our staff, just the entire school system, our school board, for working in the right directions. So we're over 50% in ELA. Math, same thing, third through fifth grade, you're going to see 41 to 54%. 6 through 8, 35.8 to 53. And then Algebra 1, we're not where we want to be, but we are so moving in the right direction compared to where we were. We went from integrated back to Algebra 1, and you'll see we're at 17.8%, and we're now at 39.9. And so that 17.8 was pretty embarrassing. That's why we moved away from integrated. It wasn't working. There were some other things we needed to do, so we moved back to the traditional Algebra 1 geometry, Algebra 2, and we're really starting to see that progress. Same thing for geometry. We are at 26.5 to now 47.7. And then Algebra 2, 17.6 to 47.1. And so you will see some of that is, as we have focused more at the elementary and the middle level, we've doubled the amount of time, instruction time our students get in middle school for math. We're starting to see that progress transition as they have a better background and understanding. And so overall math is 50.2. So 50.3 for ELA, 50.2 for math. Science, we had standard setting, which means that there was a new assessment last year, new standards and new adoption, so we don't yet have the scores, but you can see it's, once we get these, I'll go over it. This is just 21 to 25, we went from 46 to 53.2. I'm gonna give a caveat, because don't lose your minds when you see high school math here in just a second. Or high school science, sixth through eighth grade science, 44.4 to 54.4. And then biology, we did not fall off the side of the world. It looks like it. We are at 72.9 for 1 year. We changed our sequencing. And so we changed how we were doing biology. So for that 1 year, all of our advanced students ended up in biology instead of, was it physical science that we were doing? And so we switched environmental science, that's what we were doing. We were switching environmental science and physical science and biology all together. And now we are back on that track of having the students on the right track that we want them to do. So we did that 1 year was a huge misnomer, and it'd be an outlier in our data. And so all grade science still, though, we've gone from 46.5 to 53.8. Social studies, huge celebrations. We do not test 3rd through 5th grade social studies. It's not a tested subject in the state of Tennessee. And so 6th through 8th grades, when we test the first time, it's 47.8 to 60.9. U.S. histories, 36.7 to 50.1. And all grade social studies has gone from 45.6 to 58.8. So we really do, growth is what we focus on the most because we talk about, we can't control where students have come to us, but we need to make sure they learn while they're with us. That doesn't mean we don't also look at proficiency all the time. And so we're extremely proud of that work. Thank you, Dr. Chastain, our principals, because that's a huge, huge increase they've made. Any questions on that? I can nerd out on this all day.
I just want to make a comment. In 2007, I had 4 children in school, and I had one that was going to be a freshman in high school. I had one in 6th grade, and I had 2 in 3rd grade. And literally, I remember this, and they were changing things almost overnight. It was going to be harder for the older kids. They were not worried about my 3rd graders. They're going to be okay. But literally, my son Mitchell's math teacher was literally crying. He said, I feel terrible for you guys. They've changed this almost overnight, and but eventually it's going to be okay. And it's good to see that over time that it did, slowly, even with the COVID, we were able to get it back up again. But people don't realize that's exactly what happened. In 2007, everything changed. And so I have to, when people say, we're especially the 3rd grade retention law, and I was like, no, wait a minute now. The testing is a lot harder. What we're asking of these kids is a lot harder. So thank you for reminding everyone about that, because it seems like we talked about it in 2007. Everybody, all the parents knew that had kids in school. We heard about it. It's like we forgot, and we need to be reminded that, our kids are doing much better than we think they are.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Mr. Rosales.
Thanks. So I read an article this past week that there's been a major overhaul of the ELA standards, where they're taking away a lot of them and then bring back some that were done in the past. So how is that going to impact the TCAT scoring, since we're having to change something that's been done now for the past, 10 years or so?
Yeah, they do this anytime they have a standards adoption, and so this is typical. They're now on an 8-year cycle, and so they will have to do field testing once we get closer. So that goes into effect in 29-30. We'll have an adoption cycle or adopt new textbooks. With ELA, it's going to cost tens of millions of dollars, but that's a different conversation. And then the kids the year before will start doing field test items. They won't know which ones are real assessment items. Some will, depending on the test, but which one's a real assessment, which one's not, before they can actually use them on an actual TCAP test. And so the same thing is going on with science right now. That's why we don't have scores yet. I wouldn't expect the scores to change a whole lot unless they change the entire accountability model, which they sometimes do.
So why are these standards constantly evolving, especially on the ELA side? I can see social studies because, history changes, whatever. But the ELA side, I don't understand why it is always evolving, changing.
2 reasons. One is because we do need to constantly evolve as our students are evolving. So we've added standards around technology that weren't there previously because technology has evolved. Second, and this is just the business aspect of it, new textbooks get printed, which they're more money for vendors and companies. Mm-hmm. Was I not supposed to say that, Dr. Chastain? Yeah.
And then,
It is.
do we take an inventory for the teachers who are actually using the
Oh,
textbooks
yes.
in the classroom?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And we have a new textbook coordinator job description, and he is loving life right now, counting all the textbooks. But he's doing
That's
great. Mr. Pedigo, who's at Eagleville, he's doing great.
Yes, Mr. Tindall.
I think those are great results. This just shows how great a school system we do have. And I shared that article from Dr. Brian Terry, just because it gives some enlightening information to everybody who likes to argue, well, things used to be so much better in the past, but you're not comparing apples to apples in any sort. So I appreciate you bringing that out in the meeting as well, so that people can see that things have changed since then. And if you think about education, you're only adding more to it. Like, you're never taking away less. You're always adding to it. So it's going to continue to get more difficult.
Yep, agreed completely.
Is there anything else? That was excellent.
All right, thank you. And then last thing I want to bring up, and I will read this because it is important. I have on here Director of Schools Professional Development. You all know I appreciate the evaluation, but something I always want to try to do is always try to improve. And so being the Director of Schools is a large task. However, I always feel like it's important to continually improve. A large belief amongst some people that an educator shouldn't serve as a CEO of a school system. I believe it's imperative that someone with an educational background is always charged with leading a school system. Without that focus on people and that shared experience, it can be really hard for non-educators or staff to respect a leader that's from that in the educational community. But I also realize this is a business. This is a over $600 million huge business with resources each year. Just different though is our outcomes are students. They're not a bottom line somewhere. Our outcomes are kids. And the difference is there's no revenue that we've talked about that we get to control. So the CEO of a school system doesn't get to have those same tools. Makes my perspective a little bit unique. Upon getting this position, I enrolled in the National Superintendent Certification Program. At that time, I was the only director at the time to hold that credential in Tennessee. My contract also mentions, in the interest of continuous growth, promotion, development, and advancement of the school system, the board encourages within pre-approved limits set by the board the continued professional growth of the director. And so it has a couple things. One, it says in operations, programs, other activities conducted or sponsored by local, state, and national school administration. Second, talks about seminars, courses offered by public or private educational institutions. I think it goes to say you all know how serious I take this position. I'm dedicated to the school system and continued professional development, something that's exciting for me, and I hope it's exciting for the district. I've been accepted to a prestigious cohort at Vanderbilt University and the Executive Master's in Business Administration program. And so that'll be surrounded by some of the brightest people in the country. Example, Jeff Hollingshead from Smyrna Ready Mix. He just graduated, I think, 1.5 years or 2 years ago. I'm paying for it personally. It's outside of it's always on Saturdays, except intensive at the very beginning of the semester that I have to take care of. I'm proud of this opportunity because it's built for working executives. That's why it's an executive MBA program. But I'm hoping that this will give me the skills gained to further impact my ability to utilize our resources, also advocate and investigate other resource allocations, because with the county commission, you all know sometimes we're very respected, but it's going to be nice to have that knowledge to talk about bond rates and bond ratings and how all of those things work when we're talking about the need for a jail versus a school system. And so that's going to be great, and I hope it helps with our credibility. I'm happy to answer any questions, or if there's any concerns from board members, I'm happy to answer it, but I'm excited for it.
Mr. Vaughn, got one.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I think that continuing, with education, I think is always something that's very important, in my opinion. I don't think you can ever get too much of it.
I don't either. Yep. My wife may think so.
And I think, being around other educators and sharing ideas is great. I'm just glad you have the opportunity to do that.
Yep. And I'm the only educator in this group. There may be one teacher, but the rest of it is all business, defense, and astronaut pilots. I mean, it is a different group of people that I'm not usually around. So
don't let them recruit you.
I'm not going anywhere. This is home. This is why I'm doing it. So.
Well, you're doing us proud.
Thank you.
And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any comments? Yes, Mr. Vaught.
Congratulations on that. That is an excellent, myself having a Vanderbilt graduate in the house, it's an interesting thing, and I'll speak just a tidbit about Jackson and his connections. He is in Pennsylvania tonight or today and presenting to OpenAI as one of his new clients. And he was in a nuclear plant day before yesterday. I mean, the kid, I don't ever know where he is. He's been to Greenland and Iceland and all he goes everywhere. I don't know where he is. His mother keeps up with him. I don't. But anyway, I said all that to say this. Those contacts, the reason he is where he is because of the people that he was around in Vanderbilt. And his worldview is so large now. So I congratulate you on that. That's fantastic. And speaking of that, and I'm going to be a little bit of a downer right here. If I hate to end us on this, but I think we have to be aware of this as a society. There was an article in Barron's yesterday. ChatGPT maker OpenAI said Tuesday that its advanced artificial intelligence model had gone rogue during security testing, hacking into a popular platform for programmers on its own.
Wow.
So it is thinking on its own now. They didn't turn it loose, it turned itself loose. So I said that not to scare everybody, but to make everybody aware of how fast this is all moving right now. I mean, after we had the security hack we had last year, and OpenAI has the ability, it's taught itself how to do this. And I will send this article. Anybody that wants to read it, I'll forward it to you if you want to see it. But it's when you start thinking how deep this is going right now, it is. I want to say it's scary a little bit, but it's also awe-inspiring too about how fast we'll go and how fast things are changing. And I know in agriculture there's phenomenal every year, different varieties of seed corn or whatever we're planting, and the herbicide technology is moving fast pace, and the automation, tractors driving themselves, it's going to be one of these deals where I'll never see it, but my kids may be Jackson may be in New York and be running the farm from there in 5 more years or 10 more years. So anyway, they've got to have a good education. I'll go back to it. The foundation of everything comes back to education and roads in this state. Those are the 2 main things that have to drive our economy. So that's my sermon, and I'll hush after that.
Dr. Sullivan.
Last thing I wanted to add is brag on our team here. So we had our summer summit on July 21st, 22nd, so Tuesday, Wednesday, which if those of us who have been in this district, some of our board members, we used to contract this out. It was $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 that we were paying for our conference. We now do it ourselves, and so we just pay basically for setup and snacks, and that's about it. And Marcy Lehman with our professional development and instruction department and her team kind of run it all. We had 156 of our teachers and district specialists step into leadership roles and provide the training instead of us paying anybody else. And we had 1,400 educators across our district participate the last 2 days. And so that is huge numbers.
Can we share the theme?
Yes, please.
I don't know if it's right to share the theme after what Mr.
I
Vaughn
think
shared.
it's even more relevant to share.
Okay.
The theme this year was staying student-centered in an AI world.
Gotcha.
I'd just like to say something about that AI. I'm telling you, we learned a lesson when I was teaching up at the university. We had a kid that couldn't hardly spell his name. But all of a sudden, man, he turned in a paper that I promise you, Einstein couldn't have done any better. And the poor boy didn't have enough sense to realize he needed to doctor it down just a little bit. But it just goes to show you the opportunity that AI is going to give a lot of people. And you almost have to be careful because, there's so much stuff that can be fraudulently done by AI that, you got to be aware and be careful with it, So I probably would have done pretty good in school if I had that when I was back. But.
Ms. Maxwell?
Mr. Salas.
Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Sullivan, in getting accepted to that prestigious program. So I wanted to bring up for discussion. So during COVID, I remember hearing parents speak at the podium because of the way, it was because of COVID, but they showed interest in wanting to come into the classrooms and kind of volunteer in some form capacity. And just hearing the idea of how can we make parents more involved in that setting, not just allowing, you know, there are opportunities today where if you're part of the PTO or PTA group, you do get those options, but that's just for like decorating the classroom and things like that. I don't know if there's any legal aspect to it that would prevent adults being in the building because they're going to be around minors. So that's something to consider, and I understand. But if we can explore some ideas how parents could be a little more involved and possibly even, I don't know, maybe have a survey sent out to the parents to see in what capacity and manner they would like to be involved. Because I know, as you know, when you're in elementary school, you have a lot of enthusiasm from parents that are wanting to be involved. But as they get older, like in middle school and high school, sometimes that enthusiasm doesn't really last all the way through. So it'd be interesting to see if there are parents that would be willing to be more involved in a different setting than just coming to, you know, decorate. Because I have been talking about the whole and bringing up the issue of behavior disruptions that are prevalent in our classrooms that are sometimes a little heavy to deal with, depending on the issue or in the situation. So I am a firm believer that if we can alleviate that by helping the child, then I think that's a win for everyone.
We'll for sure look into that. One of our things, if it's going to be a parent that's going to volunteer normally, we would definitely want to run them through our Wrap Back program,
Sure, yeah.
Rapture and all that type of stuff, but we're definitely open to that.
Oh, good. Will it be possible to get some ideas
Yeah.
in the next
sure.
board meeting and see if we can implement something in this upcoming school year?
Yeah, for
Possibly,
sure.
perhaps? Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Tidwell.
Yeah, on that note, I had heard there are some mentorship programs that different school districts have done. I don't know if it's something we can look into.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that. And then touching on the AI thing. So I read an article about it as well. And, you know, they put that OpenAI in a sandbox, what they call like a digital sandbox, so it couldn't escape out. And it figured out the code and still got out. And so it's very interesting to bring that up. But what I was going to talk about on that is, you know, as much as we would like to probably avoid that a lot, there's no way we're going to be able to. We're going to have to adapt to AI. I mean, it is coming, and it's going to drastically change the world over the next 10 years. So I'm just wondering how, as our district is leading in so many categories, I don't want to fall behind on this one particular category that's probably going to change their lives, our students' lives, far more than it's going to do for everybody, but our students' lives going into the workforce is going to look way different potentially than what it is for us today.
So 2 years ago, and I'll give, we have a small but mighty instructional technology team, but 2 years ago, we started putting together committees of teachers and tech folks to address this very issue. And it's evolved rapidly in terms of the conversations and the needs for what we need to be looking at and producing to support. Really, our angle is how do we support the teachers to be aware and efficient and effective enough in the use of AI to help our students use it safely and appropriately. So one of the outcomes of that is this year we have a handbook. Our handbook has changed a little bit in terms of even, we talked briefly about this a while back, but even like discipline and appropriate guidance for students in using AI for assignments and helping our teachers be a little more direct for this. On this assignment, this is how you can use technology. On this assignment, this is what we expect. You know, just really clear guidelines. Kind of took some cues from higher ed on that. They kind of saw that first. So that we have it broken down by grade bands in terms of teacher guidance for what is effective and appropriate at each grade band to talk to students about when it comes to AI. Like in our younger grades, it is just kind of modeling use. And then you get into higher elementary and into middle, we kind of are clear about this is not a human. You know, that kind of specific stuff. And then as you get into high school where they are one-to-one with devices, being really intentional about appropriate use. I mean, we want them to be native users, and we want them to be set apart in being able to use the technology and also being able to look you in the eye and shake your hand. So that really is what we're trying to, that's the goal, but it is evolving so quickly. that we are continuously meeting and updating those parameters. I will say that another huge thing that can't be lost is that we are constantly addressing our procedures in terms of student safety. So I read that same article and was like, oh, and really looking at that specifically. And this comes to our teachers and our students in terms of not putting individual and student level data into AI. So just continuous reminders before our teachers are able to use certain programs that they have to go through training to know what is and is not appropriate in terms of information to put into the models. So all that is locked down pretty effectively, as effective as we can be. Obviously, there's no perfect system, but knowledge is what we're after in terms of just being intelligent users.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see some of that so I can kind of learn myself of how we're adapting. 'Cause growing up, the Encyclopedia Britannica, that was like the big thing. If you had one of those or your friend had one, you'd use that for your research and your paperwork. And I'm sure they're using it today to kind of expedite that process a little bit more. So it's be interesting just to see, because growing up they told us, well, you need to learn math really well because you're not going to have a calculator all the time, and you got much more than a calculator with you now. So and I appreciate that. So I'd like to see whatever we have on that.
Absolutely. And some of it's available. I'll have to find. I'll have to find all the links on where they are on our new website. But some of that's where we could just share it pretty easily in terms of the guidelines for our teachers and some of that stuff. Also, I wanted to mention, and this is a little bit of a tangent but related. You'll see more and more of this as the chamber gets involved, and some news articles I think are going to be pushed out soon. Mr. Evans, I need to talk to you about that. But we are partnering with MTSU and Quantum. And so we had Dr. Hannah Terlecka came and spoke at our summer summit, did a whole session. I was able to sit in there for a couple hours and talk about something that really blows your mind in terms of, cybersecurity and ability to model new materials and pharmaceutical, like quantum. I know enough to know I know nothing, but I know that that's going to be another thing that we're trying to be the first district to have a pathway set up when it's time for CTE to really be able to feed into 2-year and to MTSU in terms of quantum. So that's the next thing to kind of put on the radar.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Mr. Gonzalez.
So this is all great conversation. I don't know if there's any legislators that are listening, but I'm just going ahead and go for it. So with technology, there's always risk. And with that risk can also come, there's some good things and there's also some bad things. And the thing I want to bring up is when back in the early 2000s, there was in the science world, there was a huge breakthrough within the DNA where the first the first sheet was duplicated, called Dolly. And at the time, there was so many unknowns to what that world could be and what that implicated. And so on the federal side, on the federal side, the president at the time, who happened to be President Bill Clinton, decided to put a guardrail in protection of human life by creating a law that protected humans where you could only go so far. This was advancement was amazing, but you can only go so far. And so now it prevents with this technology that you cannot clone a human body. With that being said, there needs to be guardrails within the whole thing with AI, because as you look into the cost of education is very labor intensive. It requires more people in capital than it requires the technology. So I hope that there is some appetite coming where we put guardrails where we do not replace teachers in the classroom with AI instruction. And the reason why I'm bringing this is because there is already a state here in the state of in United States that is already doing that. There's a district, and I believe it's in Texas. Was it? It's in New York, thank you, that is replacing teachers in the classroom with AI instruction. And I don't believe that is a good pathway for us to take. Like I said, technology is amazing. The advancement is incredible. But what AI cannot do with having a human present is the emotional aspect where it builds emotional intelligence, the touch, the feeling, the communication, all of that. You're not going to get that with an AI instruction. So I hope that our legislators will look into how do we safeguard and use AI in the best form that is better suited to serve our children so that they can be productive citizens once they graduate. So that's what I would like. That's my soapbox right now in my spiel.
Okay. Anybody else?
Maybe AI can help New York.
Yes, Mr. Tidwell.
Different subject here, but I just want to give a shout out to Ms. Pilgrim. We see so much from our CTE programs and just underappreciated. I as someone who, did the whole education route and then went back into a career that didn't require as much of that education as I paid for, but ended up being a really good career. I can't I can't appreciate enough how much we are focusing on that in our district. So it's a really good thing. And I'll just leave you with this little tidbit. They used to tell everybody over the past 5 or 10 years, they said, you need to get into computer science, you need to get into coding, get into coding, get into coding, get into coding. And the first jobs that AI replaced was coding.
Yep.
You know what they're not replacing is the plumbers, the guys crawling in your crawl space, roofers, guys, carpenter. These guys are doing some of this manual labor, and ladies that are doing that as well. Those are skills. Engineers, I hear about all these data centers that are going to be popping up. Well, there's massive amounts of opportunities for engineers and software developers to help run those things, including in construction as well. So things are always adapting and changing, and we're about to go through a massive change. But again, Ms. Pilgrim, I certainly appreciate your leadership in CTE, and I noticed that you let everybody else speak tonight while your department is getting all the praise, so I think that I can shower a little praise on you, and that would be appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, the CTE program, so many of our people graduate that don't go to college, and, we've got to teach them skill, and again, to keep them in this community and keep making Rutherford County thrive. And skilled people like that, my hat's off to the work y'all are doing. And, we can't do enough of it. I just hope that we just keep making strides and making it better and helping any way we can, so.
Is that it? Thank you. We're adjourned.